Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
A 40-year-old Sioux Falls man is behind bars this morning accused of assaulting two women. Authorities say the incident started Tuesday afternoon when one of the victims saw a man by her relative's vehicle.
Officers say the suspect made a comment about stealing items from the car. That's when police say the suspect strangled the first victim and stabbed the second.
The second victim had wounds, stab wounds to her chest and arm, a couple, at least two to her chest, one to her arm. There's another one that it said there was a laceration to her head. I'm not sure if that happened from the knife or at some point she was pushed to the ground.
The woman who was strangled was not seriously hurt. Jason Perrin faces several charges of aggravated assault.
A Pine Ridge man will spend years behind bars after being convicted on two separate charges. 30-year-old Nikki Coombs was sentenced to 10 years in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. He
pleaded guilty to possession of a firearm by a prohibited person and conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. Court documents say from June 2018 through 2021, Coombs got meth from multiple sources and distributed it from his home on the Pine Ridge Reservation.
We have an update on a serious crash near Reptile Gardens south of Rapid City. One of the drivers has died of her injuries. Officials say one car was going east on Highway 16 when it veered to the right and hit a guardrail.
The car then drove across both lanes through the median and hit a second car headed in the other direction. The 78-year-old driver of the first car was taken to the hospital where she later died. The two people in the other car received serious injuries.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Brian Carstens for a check of this morning's forecast. Good morning, Brian.
All right, good morning, Perry. Good morning, everybody. As we're looking at weather this morning into the 40s and 50s to start the day, I do expect throughout the day part forecast 70s for highs. That'll feel pretty nice. Let's look at the hourly numbers here, and they'll climb fairly consistently across the board. Even Rapid City today will get above 70. Custer, low 60s there, and Sioux Falls, we're hoping for about 75. Now, winds will be a little more of an issue, especially in the northeast, where it's probably actually a good thing to get a little wind to help dry some things out just a bit. And I do expect here as we head through tomorrow, new rain chances popping up in the west starting as early as Friday morning, and that'll be expanding eastward later on Friday. And we'll talk more about that and your weekend in just a couple minutes.
Thank you, Brian. The June 1st Friday is almost here, and this month's event will include a new art show.
South Dakota Urban Indian Health is hosting an art reception tomorrow at 6 p.m. along Phillips Avenue. It will showcase works made by community members whose lives have been touched by addiction and recovery.
If you do go downtown tomorrow, some parking spots won't be available. Starting this morning, parking isn't allowed on North Phillips Avenue between 8th and 9th Street.
XL Energy will be working in the area. The work is expected to be done by the end of the month. Drivers are asked to use caution in the area and may want to find a different route.
Sioux Area Metro is now offering free bus rides to people looking to vote early in the upcoming primary election.
This will be available until Monday, June 6th. Paratransit riders can ride to the polls for free as well.
Coming up on this week's Inside KELOLAND, we sit down with each of the candidates running for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate.
You'll hear our conversations with incumbent John Thune as well as challengers Bruce Whalen and Mark Mowry. You can catch those interviews on Saturday morning at 9:30 Central Time and Sunday night at 10:30 Central right here on KELOLAND TV. Well, keep your curiosity and perseverance, Roman. They may take you to the stars. That's the message of local 8th grader Roman Newsom received from NASA's Perseverance rover currently on Mars.
Newsom was one of 15 students from across the country who was awarded the chance to speak with those working in NASA's mission control and receive a direct message from the rover.
It's amazing, like you can get more input from these people. I've already, like from today with the planetary protection, I got a lot more input from that and just the environments on Mars and how life survives there.
Newsom eventually hopes to become an astrobiologist and travel to space. Let's look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Carstens. Hey, Brian.
All right. Weather today looking all right out there. We've got sunshine and northwest winds. High pressure still in control of the weather for much of the northern plains, but we do have an area of low pressure coming back on the screens tomorrow, and rain chances are following that here into the far west. I think that may start up as early as Friday morning, but then the thinking is that's going to take a track here across the south. probably Sioux Falls into, let's say, Friday evening, and then we'll carry some rain chances into early Saturday morning. As we pick apart the details of the forecast, it looks like that particular area of rain will try to shift eastward by Saturday afternoon. So I think there's a reasonable chance there's a break in there, certainly for northeastern South Dakota, where we tap into some drier air out of northern Minnesota. So that'll kind of come in there. But then you see these additional areas of showers Saturday night, and that could drop into Nebraska. So again, the thinking of the weekend, you're going to see those rain chances, but pay close attention to the timing, because there are going to be gaps where the weather will be fine. And I do expect Sunday, actually, for Sioux Falls to start drier, and then we're kind of going with another piece of energy coming out of the Montana area, and then that would come into South Dakota Sunday, probably later Sunday into early Monday morning, and then eventually connect the dots into Nebraska. So if you're right along that active pattern area, you're going to get rain, and it really shows up on this map. This is a collection of all the chances Friday night through Sunday night, and places like Winter and Yankton and Rapid City could end up with over an inch of rain. The far northeast could be a whole lot less, which quite honestly, that's good. They don't need any more rain in the northeast right now, as we've got to get some planting accomplished, and we do not need wetter days. Unfortunately, for some that are wet, there's actually more rain coming. So it's kind of a mixed bag of stories. You know, we got some folks that are still dry and need the rain, and the opposite's true in other areas. So as we sort it all out, one thing I can tell you, temperatures are below normal. There's no doubt there. Those 60s coming into Aberdeen, that's really noticeable, days 5, 6, and 7. So we'll need to keep watching this pattern into June and how that's going to unfold here. But Pierre, also wet weather for a time here. Looks like in early next week, frequent chances of rain beyond the weekend. And then I would say even into Rapid City and the Black Hills, it looks wet and cool. Lots of days in the 60s. Where's summer? Yeah, that's an interesting question. We'll be exploring that, I'm sure, in the days ahead. Find out more coverage online at KELOLAND.com.